tip. Captain of the ship, I'm snapping quick. I just dap and dip. Trying to catch a lift, it's Jackson Benz. I just smash the strip. Faster than your whip, I'm accurate. If I slap a bitch, trying to tax and shit, then that's legit.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Nicholas Billings, and this is Turf Talk Tuesday. And let's break down this Penn State game. Let's just be real. That game sucked. Like, Maryland laid a big, fat, stinky egg on that field. It all starts, Maryland went on a run to start the season. Every game they scored on the opening drive. But the last 3 games, they haven't been able to do that. And I think that just starts, Maryland can't score in that fourth drive. And for some reason, it just gets right to their head. And so I'm standing there. Maryland runs the 3 and out. I'm on the field. The rain starts coming down, and it's a Wisconsin game all over. But no, it's worse. They give the ball to Penn State. Penn State goes straight down the field, scores. The crowd that seems small is way into it. And I was really I drove all the way up to Penn State to see 110 fans, by the way. Crowd was only 90,000. So after that touchdown, I was just like, yeah, this is not going to be a win. Talia goes back out the second drive. It's like the first 3 and out. He just gets banged up, beat around. The offensive lineman can't do squat anymore. It just seems like once Maryland started facing some real teams, the offensive line just gave up. I don't know if that Michigan game made the offensive line look better than they actually were, because the line held really good against Michigan. And the defense just looks straight up weak. Just can't get any penetration. The only good plays from the secondaries, there's always a couple pass breakups that look really impressive, but they arm tackle. It's just awful hits. Awful, you just see all game. Arm tackle, no big hits. No guy stepping up, making a play, leaving big holes for the running back. They can't stop the run worth anything. Maryland's run defense is probably the worst run defense in the whole conference. Let's just be real at this point. And Maryland's biggest kryptonite is the weather. I said it before this game. If it rains, Maryland's going to lose. And it all circles. That's exactly what happened. And it all circles back to last week's episode. I said if Talia doesn't throw 180 yards, Maryland can't win this game. Maryland threw 77 yards, I believe. So the basic thing is Maryland's running backs can't run if Talia doesn't throw. The pass sets up our run. Usually you would want it the other way around. The run sets up the pass, but our offense, the way it's set up, is if Talia has a good game, they start playing pass defense and the running backs start just bursting big runs open. But if the quarterback, if Talia's a no-show, you better count on Roman Himby and Antoine Littleton being no-shows too, because they really need Talia at this point. The way the offense, I don't think it's a knock on those guys too, because you really see they got a lot of talent. Antoine Littleton seems like every once in a while he runs a little loose with that fumble was bad against Penn State when he got hit. No one should have a fumble where the ball flies 8 feet in the air and 15 yards away from the player. He's got to keep 2 hands on it. But he seems like a good back. And Roman Himby, he's really stepped up and became a star. And that's where I'm going to kind of go on to my next point. I think Maryland needs to start using their star players as gadgets. I don't know why. Roman Himby has proved to be effective in the pass game. Why don't we throw Antoine Littleton out there sometimes and put Roman Himby in the slot? Why don't we put Rakeem Jarrett every once in a while back at running back? If they put him back there every once in a while, give him a chance. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want to play running back. Maybe it's a thing. He's a 5-star prospect, but I don't think it is. I think if they gave him some touches at running back, he's a fast dude. Give him some touches. Give him 8 rushes, 9 rushes a game. I bet you would see good things. I think Maryland's trying to get all their players playing time. Maryland isn't Ohio State. We don't have a deep roster. It's time to just notice Maryland's got 2 players that could play for Ohio State. I mean, maybe Demas at one point of his career could have, but he's kind of faded away this season. And I don't know if it's definitely, I think it's play calling. Basically, there was really good play calling last year, and play calling seems to suck this year. But Maryland never just rides the hot hand. Why can't we just give it to our star players? Why can't we make a Heisman candidate out of one of these guys? Just give them an OC inflated season. You know, Rakim Jarrett's only getting a couple receptions every game. I think he has like 29 receptions, maybe over 30 at this point, and 300 yards through 10 games. That's not what Maryland needs out of him. And he's a 5, like this would help him out. I think just feed him the rock. Would love to see that against Ohio State. Get him 16 touches. See what the difference is in the game. Get your X Factor guy, X Factor moments. They just don't do that. They'll throw a screen to Ty Felton or something on third down when they could have like tried something sneaky. I never see Maryland this year. You haven't seen Maryland do anything sneaky either. I haven't seen any trick plays that, at least I don't think I've seen a trick play. There might have been one or two this season, but obviously they weren't good because I don't remember them. Maryland hasn't tried any fake punts. I don't believe they haven't tried any fake field goals. They haven't done anything outside the box. And you can't be a boring team when you are a, let's be real, middle of the road team. Maryland needs to be outside the box. You know, TCU is a middle of the road team. I don't think TCU is any better than Maryland. TCU is playing out of the box football. They're having a good time. You can see it. Their swag. They got a little something going that Maryland, it seemed like in the beginning of the season, especially around that Michigan game, started to pick up a little bit of that swag, but they just didn't carry it. It seemed to really get deflated against Purdue. And it just now it's this team doesn't even look recognizable. It's the same players, but the performances are just really poor. And if Maryland loses to Ohio State, which is very realistic, and this game shouldn't be a must-win game, but it would make the season a little bit of a disappointment at this part. Because you asked 3 weeks ago if the Terps are going to finish above 500 in the Big Ten. It seems like a lot. Now the Terps run the table really to finish 6-6. If they could, I see them maybe losing to Ohio State and Rutgers. But let's say they just lose to Ohio State. They're still 4-5 in the conference to finish the season. To me, that's a disappointment when you got a team that you really thought was going to do special things. I don't think this team will be remembered anything special if Maryland doesn't win this game against Ohio State. This team will not be remembered. To win this game, I say Talia needs 225 yards. Add 40 to what I said at Penn State. He needs at least 225 yards. Shoot, he might even need 350 to win this game. I do think hopefully the weather's gonna be crap though. It's gonna be 43. It's not gonna rain though, so hopefully these guys can show up in the cold. But we're really gonna see if Maryland can't seem to handle the weathers again. And then that comes down to a preparation standpoint, because it's cold all week, so you can't use the excuse that it's cold game day. I think when you look at the defensive side, Bennett, Braid, and Trader, those are the three guys I think that have really done really good this season. Also, Barham's played really good. But besides that, man, it's time to start looking into this defense. Last two games, see who really wants to play and step up. It's time to get some personnel changes out there on the defense, because they're really stinking it up. And I think it comes down to, man, Coach Locke said it was personal, and yeah, that game was definitely personal. Those Penn State defenders were bigger, they were tougher. They just seemed like they wanted to hurt Talia that game. And if you're Maryland, you gotta go into recruiting. You gotta go recruit some 6'8" guys to lay it down against Penn State next year. Because throwing these 6'1" defenders in the game, man, it's the Big Ten. It ain't gonna work having undersized players anymore. Maryland's not gonna be able to run this little offense. I think all our positions for the most part are undersized except Dante Demas. He might be the only tall dude on the whole Maryland team. Maybe Corey Dyches. But the rest of the team seems kind of undersized for their positions. Well, this was another episode of Terp Talk Tuesday. Thanks for listening. This is Nick, and I'm out. Bye.
With this, need a napkin. Shit, captain of the ship, I'm snapping quick. I just dap and dip, trying to catch a lift. It's Jackson Benz. I just smash the strip faster than you whip. I'm accurate. If I slap a shit, trying to tax the shit, then that's legit.